Welcome to Ceiven Coding Academy, and also welcome to Advanced Level HTML. We are progressing somehow. So today I want to talk about inputs. At the end of the day, you should be able to have a form like this, form an input element. You should be able to have a place where somebody can put his first name, last name, surname, email, mobile number. Be able to choose whether it's a male or female, and if you choose anyone, that one will be tick. If you go to female, male will remove and female will be tick. If you go to cross gender, or the two will remove and cross gender will be tick. It's best to choose the option that apply for the person. Is it because this is an application? Is the person applying for software development? You can tick it. If it's not, you can also tick the one that apply or tick all if all applies. Software development, front-end development, back-end development, full stack development. The person will be able to upload the CV or his whatever he has, his certifications, be able to upload it here and be able to explain his qualification. Is he a BSc holder? Is he a OND holder? And how can you do that? By coming to this arrow and click on it. You see options comes up for him to choose the one he is. And if it's none of this, it's not a BSc holder, HND holder, OND holder, SSC holder, probably it's others, then you have to click others. And when you click others, see others explain. It should be to explain his qualification here on this box. That is this, or is that. Okay. And at the end of the day, the person will to tell us why we should consider him. Maybe he made a mistake while filling the form. You can actually clear it by clicking on clear button and then you type it again. And after everything, submit it. Of course, this is HTML. So if the person click on submit, it's not going to go because it's HTML. HTML is just a skeleton. It's not like for that submission to go through, there have to be JavaScript or PHP or other programming languages. But when we talk about forms and input, what are we talking about? Have you ever been on internet before? And before you enter, they ask you for your name, or simply put, you want to check your email address. You want to Google, and before you can enter to check your email address, you must put your email address and your password, and then press enter before you can now open your email address or your inbox for you. Or you want to apply for a job like this that say we are going to work on, and they bring out a form for you to fill online. Or you want to Microsoft Word, before you can get anything, you have to open it and start typing. And after typing, you can now print it out or see what you've typed. All these are used using input and forms. So input and forms are very, very important as far as web developer is concerned. So please pay attention to this as we take them one after the other. So when we talk about input and form, let's go to our VS Code without wasting time and see how we can code this. We'll start with form first because form serves like a container for input. I say like, I'm going to say it's a container like, okay? Just the way I can explain it for you now for you to understand. So if when I click on form, where do you see? You see, ask me for action. But we don't have any action now because this is just HTML, okay? Let's say I want to use form get. The action we need me to say maybe I have an address where I want it to go. I want it to be posted on PHP and stuff like that. But this class is not for this, okay? But I'll still explain little things under get and post. Method get. If your method is get, you use get as a method. It's very good, but it has its up and downs. If I allow method to be get, that means anything I type in here will appear on my web browser. People will see it live and direct. And what if it's my password? Maybe my bank digit. People will also see it. So that's why it's not good to use get. By the time you learn these things finish, always try to make use of post. But post too cannot work on your local. Post can only work if you are using a website. You work with servers on a server. Okay? But post is more secure than get. Why get can work anywhere. For example, you are searching for something, you can use get for that. So if somebody click on your website, you want to search for something, you can use get for that. Okay, so all of them has their own advantage and disadvantage. The advantage of get is that get can work on your local. Okay, can work on your local machine. You can write get and you put the address, person can go there and see those things. But remember, if somebody input anything here, before the person or you can see it, you have to maybe put in some HTML, some JavaScript, PHP, or others. So having explained this, let's now go ahead and start our input. Bring this one down and type on input. Input. You click on input. The first one there is test. But it's not only text, we have a lot of things you can use on input. Okay, it can be telephone, email address, password, so many things that you can use on input. Okay, the list cannot be exhausted. For you to know more about things that you can use, you can check your MDN, check it on Google, and type input on NDN. NDN be able to show NDM doc, will show you all things that you can use on input. Okay, but for now, let's start with the first one, test. If I now click on save now, click save. Let's see what will happen. And let's open this on our about page. I'm actually using my about page. So if you check up here, you see there is a box for me to type because I say test. So test is something I can actually type, right? Exactly. But if you just come over here and tell somebody to input test and you write test, or let's say email, I just write email address, just write email address, email, and probably the next thing that will come over is the name. After the email, I put the name and also put it email, and I put ID, which is the following one. I put my ID, and under the ID too, under the ID, I also put email. Now you notice that. Let's now click on save. What happened? Nothing changes. It's just the same box. But here, the web browser, our HTML understand that we're talking about email. What about the users who come over here? They see only a pause. But if you now type anything without an email, it will not go. You see, it may like click on it, it show me signs of some emails I have for me to choose from, right? To show that truly speaking, our browser understand that this box is only email that can go in there. So how do you let your users know that they should put their email address there? For you to do that, you make use of what we call label and placeholder, or you can use any of them. Label will be there permanently, while placeholder will be there. When you click, it will go off. Without much talking, let's show it in action. So for us to use label, let's start with label first. So I'll come up here and I click on label. Click on label. Label for what? I say for email. And in between our open and closing tag, we type email. We've known this, so we won't go back to explaining them all over again because we know them already. Then you now come over here and save. Let's not put the placeholder yet. Let's now save. Let's go back to that work and see how it's going to be. If you check it now, what did you see? Email. You see email. Now, if you want to be polite, we can simply come to our label and say, please enter your email. Please enter your email. And when you click on save, what will happen? It will also be exactly the same thing. It will also be exactly the same thing. Okay. Let's save it. And what do you see? Please enter your email. So this is how these things work. What about placeholder? Placeholder will help us to place it here inside the box. You will see enter your email or please enter your email right inside the box. Let's check it out and see how this goes as well. So for us to put placeholder, we'll come to input. Immediately after the ID or the name, you give a space and write placeholder. Write placeholder, okay? And on the placeholder, we also put the same thing. Enter, let's put email. Let's put email. And you click on it and then Control S for save. Now let's go and check our work and see how it's going to be right there. Minimize this so you can see what we are doing. You see it, you see email. So don't worry that they wrote email. The mail I click on it and I start typing, the email will vanish for me to type. So this is how placeholder works and this is how a label works. Okay. And these are things you need to put for your users to know what you want them to do. Okay, so let's copy this and multiply it in several places. We're going to put our email address, password, first name, and stuff like that. Let's copy and then go ahead and place all this there. Bring it down, paste it. Yeah, let's change this one instead of email. Let's say this time around we want it to be password. Okay, so it should be enter your password. Enter your password. enter your password. Then let's come over here. It's for what? So it's for password. Password. Then please enter your password. We'll now come over to the type. We say the type should be password. Instead of email, should be password. That should be password. Then under the name, we also say the name should be password. Name should be password. Password. And our placeholder too should be password. Or let's say please enter your password. Please enter your your password. Password. So we create another one that should be for first name. Just paste it and change them. Change this to first name or name. Let's just use name. Change it to name. To name. Then here say please enter your name. Please enter your name. Please enter your name. Then you come over to the type. The type here we can choose name or text. So let's use text. So it's a text. Then the name should be, let's say, full name. Full name. So you just where you can do your first name, second name, last name. You can also use full name at once. Okay. ID full name. Placeholder, please enter your full name. Enter your full name. Please enter your full name. So here we also write under our label, it should be please enter your full name as well. Please enter your full name. Now let's save it. Control S for save. Let's now go and check what happened. I will do few explanation again. Let me make it bold so you see it very well. Did you notice something here? It say please enter your email and email address was shown there. The next one say please enter your password and password was shown there. Now say please enter your full name and full name was shown there. But notice that everything is just on a straight line. You know why? Because input is an inline element. Okay, input is what? It's an inline element. And if you go to a place where you want to fill a form and you saw the whole thing like this, you won't really like it. Okay, yeah, you won't like it. So we have to make it a little bit more better, more nice, more cute. So let's go. Let me show you how you can do this in a jiffy. So let's continue our work. Let's continue our work from where we stopped. So I right keep my back. Okay, no problem. So let's check what we did so far, and we have just explained how those things, but it's not that just in a straight line. It doesn't make sense that way. We have to make sure that our work is neat and tidy. So how do you accomplish that? You make use of div. Since it's an inline element, for us to turn into block element, you make use of div. So let's use div. We're going to apply div, and we're just going to apply our break BR. Do you still remember? Yeah, it's also part of uh, self-closing tags. Okay, so Ctrl X. We want to divide all these things by div. Brings down. Then as usual, let's format it very well. Indentation, if you remember we did indentation, we'll bring it here and then there's the div. So I'll do the same thing for all of them. And after that, BR, let's use our BR for break to break this. And then create another div. Create another div. Cut the closing tags. Ctrl X. Then come over to label and input. Label and input tags. Use our indentation, apply indentation key to it. One step. Then Here's the div. So we do same thing for all of these, okay? And now let's do Ctrl S for save, and you see how our work will be right now. Ctrl S for save, and let's now check it up with our lifesaver. You go to our lifesaver, you see the work is now taking a very good shape. So these things do something for this one too, and they all take over their shape. So this is how you can actually code this. Now, what if you want to do placeholder? Talk about placeholder. Sorry. What if let's go to radio button and some other ones as well. All the ones you need to carry out our complete document. Like I told you, it's not just once. There are so many other tags that you can use with input, or element that you can use with input. Okay, input element has a lot of things that goes with it. So let's come down, create a div for it, bring it down, and then let's say we want to input people's date of birth. Okay, or let's say we want to look for gender. So I'll use my label, and I'll use it for gender. Okay, for gender, come over here, I'll write my gender, then the next one should be our input, and the input type should be text. Okay, input type should be text, and here the ID, let's say gender, and the name should be gender as well. The name should be gender as well. Name gender. So Ctrl S for save. Now let's use a label. Oh, sorry, radio button. Use radio button, not just gender. Let's use radio button for this. Okay. After I've shown you text, let's talk about radio button. Radio. And we now want to start the first gender area. Let's say the ID should be male. Male gender. Okay. Male gender. Let's copy this and duplicate it into two places, male and female. Let's use only male and female, but in my project I'm going to use the three, both male, female, and cross gender, right? So let's copy this. Oh, at this juncture, no need to copy label, just copy only the input, okay? And turn this to female. That's the only one that you need to work on. Female. So we've gotten male and female gender. So now that we've gotten male and female gender, let's do Ctrl S for save, and let's check our work and see how it is. You see gender, you see the two line. Now these two line, man, how will I know if it's a male or a female? And if I tick any of them, I tick the two of them. So if you tick two of them, you tick any of them, you notice that you will know if this one you tick is a male or a female, right? So how do you make sure that there will be a male here, female here to separate the two? To do that, you simply come over to your code. Immediately after the input, which is here, you write immediately after the input, you come over here and you write male. Okay, so you write male. So here, this we know that we are talking about male. Then you come over immediately after this, you write female. So this time we know they are talking about female. Let's pause it and see how it goes. Sorry, today is weekend and my little girl always like to be with me. It's our first daughter, but I've said to her, so let's continue our work. So you write after it, you have male and female. Let's now save it and see how it goes. Okay, so open with Lifesaver. Yeah, now you can see gender, male or female. If I click here, it goes for male. I click female, male will up and female will comes up. Do you know how I was able to accomplish this? Do you think it just come up like that? The answer is no. Let me, for example, remove this. Remember, under the name we put gender, right? Now let's remove this and make it. Let's put the normal. Let's say this is male. So under the name we put it as male, and we come over to the female under the name, we put it as female. Let's see what will happen. We put it as female. Let's save our work and then watch what we did. Now you come over here, you see male, you click on, if I'm a female, I click on female, or I'm a male, I want to click on male. You see, two of them now clicked. So which one is male, which one is female? Both are clicking. You know why? Because as far as HTML is concerned, it doesn't know if you are a male or a female. To him, as far as this is concerned, everything here is two different entities. The first one says a male, this one says a female, so it's two different entities. But by the time you put the word gender, it will understand that, oh, we're talking about gender. And in gender, it can either be a male or a female or a cross gender. So do you get it? So under name, do not use the name they are going to use because it's a name. So okay, let me put the normal way that we used to put name in our normal write-up. No. As far as HTML concerned, when you say name, everything you write under input or under this anchor bracket, under that self-closing tag, everything you wrote there is for the machine, it's for the HTML, it's for the computer. That's why I call it computer language. It's not for our normal language. So please just put what computer we understand and not what you as a person will understand. That's why I have to come over here and differentiate it male and female. So having explained that, let us also give a break. I know how to do that. We use our BR to give a break between the two so that they can come down. But if they didn't come down, I think it's okay. You don't need to bring it down. But if you want to bring it down, just type BR and it's going to get done. Okay. Now let's say we want to get date of birth. Okay. So the next A I want to go to, let's use BR to break it and do our label. This time around, label for, let's say, date of birth for date. Okay. And here you write it, date. And you come to your input, do our input for date. Input, and we put here date. Okay. And the name we say date of birth. For name, we're going to write date of birth. I'll just write date there. And ID, no need of ID. So let's use Control S for save and see what's going to happen. You save your work, come over here, and you see it. The moment you tick on it, you write the date. If it's 12, if it's let's say 6 or 7, 07, 2022. You see it's correct. And if you click here, it will show you all the calendar for you to also choose from. So either you type it or you choose from here. Okay. Now, what about if you want to go type a file? Somebody want to input his own file. How do we do that? You remove this and put input type file, and we change the date to file, and Control S for save. Let's give it a name, file, and we save our work. Let's go over and see what we did. You come over here, you see file. So you see file, you can now click on it and then proceed to bring your document and submit it. Okay, so you want to upload the document and stuff like that. So this is how you can accomplish that using file in input. Now you can also submit your work. Let's say, and for you to submit your work, and that is input or you use button. Any of the two we go. Let's try button. And on that button you write submit. Okay, write submit. And also bring another one, input for clear. Let's say we want to someone that is working, maybe if there's a mistake as he's inputting his data, he made a mistake and he want to clear it. You use clear. Okay. And how do you use clear? You are using reset. Okay, reset. So you use Control S for save. You go over and check it. Let's see what we did. You see it, submit, reset. If you type something here, for example, you put your email address and you want to reset it, it's going to, you see it is clear it off for you to retype everything you want to type again. So our reset works. But people may not understand the word reset. So now I want this to be clear. I'll just write it clear so they know that I want them to clear what they are doing. What will I do? You come over back again. But that's when we make use of what is called value. So remember, when we are starting, I told you placeholder under email, placeholder will write something on top, and by the time you click and want to start typing, it will clear, it's one will clear immediately. But for value, value works same thing as placeholder, but value is that value doesn't clear. Value will remain there. So for example, we want to change this reset to clear. So let's we now write, you write value, and the value you write clear. You use Ctrl S for save, and let's go and check it. You see that email you see clear. Okay, so even if you click on it, it won't go. But I mean it's placeholder. Once you click on it, the clear will go, so I can type what you want to type. So that is the difference. Okay, so here it has changed from reset to clear. Also, this submit, you can also use value to change it, maybe to submit your document or log in or enter your username or sign up or sign in. Any name you want to use, just use value and change this wording to that particular name. Let's say, for example, I want this to be sign up instead of submit. What will I do? I just come over to submit, come to submit, give a space, type value, and under the value, I write sign up. This is not value, it's giving me bar instead of value. Input type, we say it's sorry, this is button, it won't work. You have to use input type for this, okay? So let's go back and use input type. Input type, we say it's submit. To also work like button, I told you that the same thing. Now we now give a space and write value. And with that value, we say instead of submit, say sign up or sign in, anyone you use. Okay, like if you go to Gmail, you see sign in. So I click sign in and I click save. Let's go and check our work. You see, it has turned toward sign in. It has turned toward sign in. Okay, so you can use any of them. You can use your sign in, you can use submit and stuff like that. Then you can use CSS to design them and make it look the way it used to look. But don't worry about that. By the time we get to CSS, we're going to handle CSS problem. But for now, just get it clear that you can use input for several other things. So before we wrap this class up, let me also show you another thing again that we did. We're going to do that assignment and submit it. So we actually do we kind of select, right? How do you get select? Like that option I bring up where the person have an option to choose. Is it BSc order, OND order, HND order? How did he do that? Very simple. Very simple. Start with label. Label for, let's say, certification or qualification obtained. Let's use qualification. Label for qualification, and here you put your qualification, or just simply write qualification, none of writing so many things. Qualification. Then we'll now go to, instead of using input this time around, what do we use? You use select. Okay, you use select. So you click on select, and the ID name should be, you can root anything. Let's say quali, which for instance for qualification, let's use qualification, and name qualification, ID, with same qualification. But I mean there's an ID, you just put the ID, okay, qualification. Then in between the two select, bring it down. And now after opening your select, you now make use of option. Okay, so start with option. So option will now give you the range. Let's say range of between BSc to HND. Oh, sorry. Okay, you can still do it from maybe from SSC to from BSc to say MSc. First range, from MSc to say doctor degree and stuff like that. But I don't want to use that. Let's use something like our age. Okay, let's use something like age. We want to know the age difference. Okay, so instead of qualification, let's change this to age. Later, I'll show you where you're going to use qualification for your checkbox or radio. Okay, we'll use checkbox for that. So let's just simply write age bracket. Okay, age bracket. It can be any other thing. So the fact that I'm using age bracket doesn't mean that you should use age bracket. Okay, you can use any other thing that you think is better. You know, I just crack my brain. That just enter my mind. I say, okay, let me use it. What matter is not what I use, but you understanding what I'm doing and know why I'm doing what I'm doing. That is the most important thing. So let's say option from age 25 to 35. Let's say we're applying for a job between age 25 to 35. Then we'll see another option. Let's copy this so it's busy for us. We'll see for copy. Come over again, paste it. Let's say here should be 35 to 45. 35 to 45. Let's paste again the last one. Let's say it should be from 45 to 55. 45 to 55. It can be on until 100 or whatever, okay? But let's just stop here to 55. So these are all our options. Let's save it. S for save. Now let's see how it goes. Bring it down. Come over here and check. You see it, age bracket. If you click here, it show you, you choose your range. If you fall between 25 to 35 or 35 to 65 or 45 to 55, you choose it and it will come in. Okay, so you can, it will bring this one down here. You will use your PR or you copy it and bring it up here, and then so this one will be, because normally after the last thing is to sign in or to submit or to clear. Okay, so that is how you can accomplish that. And what about BSc that you are going to use for your file? Maybe let's say you want to ask the person he has a BA, is a BSc holder or SSC or OND or HND. How do you accomplish that? You use box. Let's go over there. Let's go over the label again. Use checkbox for that. Label again. Let's say for qualification now. That was exactly what I was about to do before I say no. That would be overkey for it. Then qualification. Qualification. Bring it down. Type your input. This time around, I want to use checkbox. Okay. To use checkbox. And as usual, mind the name. If you want the name to be different so that they can click only one, that means you must have to use the same name for all of them. Okay. So name, the name should be qualification. Qualification. No need of ID. So under here we write BSc. Let's copy it in maybe 2 or 3 places. Ctrl C. V for paste. Let's use BR. So let's always try to change it so it won't be BR. Let's break our work. Break our work. So it won't cluster. Okay. Don't want this work to cluster. So here we have HND. Let's assume HND. Another qualification. Start the HND. HND. We go to the last one. Let's say this time around, this should be let's say SSC. SSC. Okay. So a person can choose any of these as his own qualification. So let's save it and let's see how it goes. This is it. So you can, anyone you tick, can tick any of them, or anyone you tick, it will apply, right? So let's bring it down so it will be different. It can't be on a straight line. It won't make sense for them to be on a straight line. You have to bring it down. Let's go to bring it down. You know what you want to do? Just do a BR. 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 And lastly, BR. Press for save. I don't want this class to exceed. That's why I'm rushing. Sorry, but we just have to meet up with time and same time accomplish what we are doing. Okay. So this is how far you can go. And now that we are through with this, let's now come over and do this. I would like us to take our time and create a file that will be exactly like this. Okay, exactly like this. You have your gender, you have your choose position apply for. You know, is it software development? Is it what do you apply for? You choose it. Then here you choose your qualification, whether it's BSc, HND, and stuff like that. I will show you what I use so it become easy for you. So let's go to the coding. Let me explain a few things. But normally, don't come here until you've done your. You use this one as correction, okay, to correct yourself and know whether what you did is right or wrong. So the first thing that I did here, as usual, is to create my form. Okay, I did create the form and then bring it down. In between the open and close tag of the form, I create my feed set. Feed set is a subset of form. It just serves as a container as well. After that, I use my div, and in that div, the first one is normally my label for my first name, label for last name, label for surname. Exactly what I did before now. Then my email address, I use BR and div to break it down, right? So I can go to the next page. So that the label, after the div, then my email address. After that, I come about my mobile phone number. For mobile phone number, I just use type is equals to, it can be there, okay, which serve as a telephone. But if you put test, if you put test, when you type number we go, you type test we go. Remember when I type test went, which is wrong. So make sure that the type is telephone. So even if somebody put a test, it won't go until you put his number. Then you break it down, we come to the next one, which is gender. Under the gender, don't forget to use radio button. And for the radio button not to be clicking everything at once, you have to make sure that the names apply. It should be general name for all. That's why the name I use on the input is gender. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. When you're working with what? Radio button. Then after that, we now went for position that someone is applying for. And for that one, I use checkbox. And we say position can be software developer, front-end developer, back-end developer, or full-stack developer. And the person can also choose 3 of them if you want to, if that is his fit, if he learned the 3 of them, or 2 or 1, depending on what he learned. Then after that, the next one is your document. Of course, I'm sure you can get your document. The input type for document is what? Is file. And you give him a name if you want to. Then from there, we go to qualification obtain. And for qualification obtain, we make use of what? Select. Okay. So you use your select, bring it down after between open and closing tag, you bring the select down, and then make use of option. For option 1, give me a value of BSc, option 2, value of HND, option 3, value of OND. You know, each option must have a value. Option, value, option, value, option, value. Then for the last one, which is the value of others, there and now do what you call nestling. Okay, I nestle label inside it, and now create a label for what? For explanation. I simply write explain, and then after that, I now nestle input again inside it, and this input should be type of what? Text. So that was why. Let me show you after I nestle these two things together how it appear at the end of the day. I think it's important that I show you this so I can know when you get there how I was able to go. I think that is the only one that may be a little bit difficult for you. So if you check very well, you look at it. At the end of the day, if you choose admin that person don't have a PSC, HND, OND, SS, or maybe he has all of these, but still have more certification to give us, you just want to others. And when you click on others, the next one is explain. Then explain, you see the input. Now this others is under select an option. Explain is under your label, then input is under your input. So I nested them together. First one, second one, third one. Third task was nested together as one to accomplish this. Okay. So after that, you come over to your test area, which is very simple. For test area, just write test area. You give it a name. You actually give an ID, with maybe like the column and the width. Okay. Column start for column. Okay, so you can give that if you want to. If you don't want to, leave it like that. Okay, it will still work. I can just use input. Instead of using test, I just type input and you still open a box where somebody can write something. After that, we do that button, I will call it submit. And of course, another the one I told you before now, input type says reset. But want the value to be clear and not reset. So put value as clear. It's very simple. I know you can do it, and I would like you to do it. Please work it on your own. If you make any mistake, go back and listen to my explanation and then cross-check. But don't fail to submit on our submission group. I would like to see that work, sign it, probably give more advice on this. See you in our next class. And thanks for coding with Ceiven.